Have you ever said something and immediately wished you could rewind time? We've all experienced that moment when our words feel like an arrow shot too soon, impossible to retrieve. But what if you could refine your speech so that every word you utter radiates wisdom, confidence, and inner composure? That's exactly what we're exploring today. 6 phrases that truly intelligent individuals avoid, all rooted in the enduring wisdom of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches that words are more than just sounds. They are reflections of our intellect and moral values. From steering clear of unnecessary self-promotion to embracing the profound strength of silence, these habits shape not just how you communicate, but also who you become. And the best part? By the end of this discussion, you'll have actionable insights to immediately refine how you speak, whether in professional settings, social gatherings, or even in the dialogue you have with yourself. This is more than just a lesson in speech. It's an exploration of how language shapes identity. Don't miss out. We're embarking on a journey that will redefine the way you perceive the true influence of words. 1. Refrain from self-glorification. Have you ever met someone who constantly talks about their achievements and knowledge? They discuss every book they've read, every skill they've mastered, and every lesson they've learned. Initially, you might be impressed, but over time, their need to showcase their intellect begins to feel less like inspiration and more like competition. Stoicism emphasizes that genuine wisdom does not need to be displayed for admiration. Marcus Aurelius once noted that nature does not boast about its creations, and in the same way, neither should we feel the need to advertise our intellect. This is not just philosophical guidance, it is a mindset for life. Let me share a story. I once had a colleague named John, an expert in the tech industry. Whether in meetings or casual conversations, John made sure everyone knew he was the smartest in the room. He detailed the complex projects he had worked on, the innovative solutions he had designed, and the accolades he had received. While people initially found his insights intriguing, over time, they began to feel as though every discussion was a platform for him to showcase his superiority. One day, a co-worker candidly told John that while his intelligence was evident, his way of expressing it was creating distance rather than connection. That feedback changed everything for him. He realized that in his attempt to impress others, he had unintentionally alienated them. This is a trap that many fall into. When you feel the urge to highlight your knowledge, pause and ask yourself, what is my true intention? If your goal is to contribute meaningfully, that's valuable. But if it's merely to gain recognition or validation, it's time to reconsider. Boasting does not add value. It builds an invisible barrier between you and those around you. Instead of inspiring, it can make others feel inferior. Stoicism offers a solution. Let your actions speak for you. If you possess real knowledge, it will naturally become evident through your work and how you handle challenges. Embrace humility. Being humble doesn't mean downplaying your abilities. It means allowing your value to be recognized organically. Listen more than you speak. Active listening demonstrates respect, builds meaningful connections, and allows you to absorb new perspectives. Stoicism considers silence a mark of wisdom and self-assurance. John took these lessons to heart. He began speaking less about himself and more about the ideas and perspectives of others. Instead of monopolizing discussions, he started contributing humbly and listening deeply. Over time, people sought him out, not just for his knowledge, but for his sincerity and willingness to engage with others without ego. Avoiding self-promotion doesn't mean silencing yourself. It means presenting your insights in a way that fosters respect and engagement. The words you choose are a reflection of your character, When you prioritize humility over self-importance, you enhance not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. 2. Never dismiss someone else's opinion. Have you ever shared an idea only to have it brushed aside without consideration? It's a frustrating experience, making you feel overlooked or even invalidated. Worse, you might start questioning whether your thoughts hold any real value. I know this feeling all too well, because I was once guilty of causing it. Early in my leadership role at work, I prided myself on my ability to make quick decisions. During a meeting, a colleague suggested a new approach to improving our workflow. Without thinking, I dismissed it outright, deeming it impractical. I believed I was saving time, but what I failed to notice was the sudden shift in the room: silence, hesitant glances, and a noticeable decline in enthusiasm. Later, a trusted co-worker approached me and gently pointed out, "You might have dismissed that idea too quickly. It actually had potential." That moment was a revelation. I had unknowingly stifled creativity and discouraged open communication. Stoicism teaches that true wisdom comes from openness, not arrogance. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You cannot learn what you think you already know." Dismissing someone's opinion too quickly doesn't just shut down conversation. It weakens trust, damages relationships, and limits your own learning. From that experience, I made a conscious effort to change. In future meetings, I reminded myself that listening is not the same as agreeing. It's about giving someone the space to be heard and opening yourself up to new possibilities. Adopting a curious mindset led to a transformation in my team. Instead of shutting down ideas, I started asking, "What can I learn from this?" Even flawed suggestions held valuable insights, and over time, my team became more willing to share, collaborate, and innovate. Stoicism encourages us to embrace humility, recognizing that no single person holds all the answers. Wisdom is not about asserting dominance over others. It is about fostering an environment where knowledge can flourish. After I shifted my approach, I noticed a significant change. Team discussions became more dynamic. People felt valued and encouraged to contribute. I realized that by truly listening, I was not just hearing words. I was building trust and inviting innovation. At its core, respecting others' viewpoints is not just about courtesy. It's a strategy for success. It opens doors to fresh ideas, strengthens relationships, and fosters a culture of respect and shared wisdom. As Stoics believe, true intelligence isn't about proving you're right. It's about recognizing that everyone carries a piece of the truth. That is the essence of wisdom. 3. Avoid complaining without purpose. Picture someone like Peter, a seasoned professional managing the ever-growing demands of work, family, and life's unpredictable twists. Yet, instead of tackling challenges constructively, Peter has fallen into a pattern of habitual complaining. Whether it's about workplace inefficiencies, minor inconveniences, or even the office coffee machine always being out of order, his grievances seem endless. Initially, his colleagues sympathized and even tried to offer helpful solutions. But as days turned to weeks and weeks into months, his negativity became draining. Conversations with Peter started feeling less like discussions and more like emotional endurance tests. Not because his concerns weren't valid, but because they lacked direction or resolution. One day, during a lunch break, a friend finally asked him a simple yet profound question. "Peter, I understand your frustrations, but what are you actually doing to fix these problems?" That question lingered in his mind. Peter suddenly realized that his constant complaints weren't leading to solutions. They were just reinforcing his own sense of helplessness. Even worse, His negativity was repelling people, making them less inclined to engage with him. This situation is all too common. It's easy to fall into the trap of venting about life's frustrations without taking proactive steps to address them. But Stoicism offers a powerful alternative. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic thinkers, famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Complaining about things beyond your influence does nothing but magnify feelings of frustration. It creates a cycle of negativity that drains both you and those around you. But this doesn't mean that all complaints are useless. When channeled effectively, complaints can highlight areas for improvement and drive positive change. The key difference? Complaints should have purpose. So how can you break free from pointless complaining? Ask yourself, what action can I take? If you have no control over a situation, dwelling on it is futile. Instead, shift your energy toward constructive solutions. Reframe your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" try asking, "What lesson can I learn from this?" Every challenge presents an opportunity for growth. Cultivate gratitude. Recognizing what is going well in your life helps prevent your mind from fixating on what isn't. Peter took his friend's words to heart. Instead of grumbling about office inefficiencies, he started proposing actionable solutions. Rather than complaining about traffic, he used his commute time to listen to audiobooks and practice mindfulness. Slowly, his mindset shifted. His words carried more weight because they were no longer filled with empty negativity. His relationships improved, and his colleagues sought his input, drawn to his newfound calm and solution-oriented approach. At its core, letting go of purposeless complaints is about reclaiming power over your own mind. When you shift your focus to what you can control, you strengthen your resilience and foster an environment where positivity and productivity thrive. Stoicism reminds us that our words and thoughts are tools. When used wisely, they can build a life of strength, purpose, and meaningful connections. 4. Don't make promises. You can't keep promises carry immense weight. They establish expectations, build trust, and define the integrity of our relationships. But too often, people make commitments without fully considering whether they can actually follow through. And while they may not intend to break their word, consistently failing to uphold promises erodes credibility over time. Stoicism teaches us that our words should align with our actions. True integrity isn't in making grand declarations, it's in quietly delivering on what you say. Consider the story of Greg, a professional balancing a demanding career and family life. Greg was well-intentioned but prone to overcommitting. Whether assuring his team that he'd review reports by Monday or promising his family that he'd be home in time for dinner, he frequently found himself unable to follow through. At first, people excused it. They understood that he was busy. But as the pattern repeated, frustration grew. His colleagues began second-guessing his commitments, and his family grew tired of empty reassurances. One evening, after missing yet another family dinner, his teenage daughter left a note on his desk. "We just want you to mean it when you say it." That single sentence hit him harder than any missed deadline or professional setback. It forced him to reflect on how his good intentions were, in reality, breaking trust. This moment perfectly illustrates a core Stoic principle: speak with intention and act with integrity. Marcus Aurelius once advised, "Let your words be plain and true." A promise is more than just a statement. It's a commitment that reflects your character. Making empty promises, even with the best intentions, is like writing a check that your credibility cannot cash. So how can we ensure our words hold meaning? Pause before committing. Before agreeing to something, take a moment to evaluate whether you have the time, energy, and resources to fulfill it. If there's any doubt, set realistic expectations instead of over-promising. Under-promise and over-deliver. If you anticipate needing 3 days to complete a task, say you'll need 4, and then deliver early. This builds reliability and trust over time. Own your commitments. If circumstances prevent you from keeping a promise, address it directly. Apologize sincerely, provide context, and offer a solution. Greg took these lessons seriously. He became more mindful about his commitments, learning to say no when necessary, and ensuring his yes meant something. Over time, his relationships improved. His team trusted him again, and his family saw his efforts as genuine. Most importantly, he felt a newfound peace, knowing that his words carried weight and his actions matched his intentions. Avoiding empty promises isn't about being perfect, it's about being honest and dependable. Stoicism teaches us that strength lies in integrity, where words and actions are in harmony. When you commit to this principle, you not only gain respect, but you foster deeper, more meaningful connections. After all, we are not defined by the promises we make. We are defined by the ones we keep. 5. Don't deny your mistakes. Have you ever felt that acknowledging a mistake was like exposing a weakness, leaving yourself open to judgment? I once believed that too, but a pivotal experience reshaped my perspective entirely. Through the wisdom of Stoicism, I came to understand that admitting to a mistake doesn't make you weaker. It makes you someone who is honest, self-aware, and resilient. Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, "If someone is able to prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I will gladly change. For it is the truth I seek, and the truth has never harmed anyone." Let me share a story. A few years ago, I was leading a major project under tight deadlines. In my rush to complete everything on time, I overlooked some critical details in a report. The errors weren't just minor, they led to setbacks and scrutiny from upper management. When the mistake came to light, my initial instinct was to make excuses. I wanted to blame the overwhelming workload, the tight schedule, anything but myself. But deep down, I knew the truth. The responsibility was mine. Rather than deflecting blame, I faced the issue head-on. In our next team meeting, I openly admitted my mistake, apologized, and presented a clear plan to ensure it wouldn't happen again. The response: it was nothing like I expected. Instead of facing judgment or criticism, my colleagues respected my honesty. Some even expressed gratitude for setting an example of accountability. In that moment, I realized that owning a mistake doesn't weaken you, it earns trust and credibility. Why is this so powerful? Because taking responsibility builds bridges instead of walls. It fosters an environment where people feel safe to be honest, leading to better collaboration and problem solving. Yet, many of us resist admitting our mistakes out of fear of looking incompetent or losing respect. But ask yourself this: does denying a mistake truly make you look better? Or does it make you seem unreliable? The reality is this: the ability to own your mistakes is a sign of true confidence. It shows you are strong enough to prioritize growth over ego. So, how can you apply this in your own life? Develop self-awareness. When something goes wrong, instead of instinctively looking for external causes, ask yourself, what role did I play in this? Take action to fix it. Apologizing is only the first step. Demonstrate through your actions that you're learning and improving. See mistakes as stepping stones. Stoicism teaches that errors are not failures, but opportunities for growth. The most respected individuals are not those who never make mistakes, but those who learn from them. Over time, I noticed a shift in the way people interacted with me. They were more open, more willing to trust my leadership, and more inclined to take responsibility themselves. I had unknowingly set a standard. Mistakes weren't something to hide. They were something to learn from. At the heart of Stoicism is the belief that wisdom comes from humility. Those who have the courage to admit their missteps don't just improve themselves, they inspire others. The next time you find yourself in the wrong, resist the urge to deny it. Instead, pause, acknowledge, and commit to doing better. True respect is not earned by perfection, but by the strength to own your imperfections. 6. Don't overshare your future plans. There's an interesting paradox about ambition. Sometimes talking about your goals too much can actually prevent you from achieving them. Stoicism teaches that while it's natural to have aspirations, broadcasting your plans too soon can dilute your focus and weaken your commitment. Let's consider Jim, a well-meaning professional known for his enthusiasm and warmth. Jim had a habit of agreeing to everything, whether it was helping a friend move, volunteering for extra work assignments, or committing to every community event. His response was always the same: "Sure, count me in." But as his schedule became increasingly packed, he found himself frequently forgetting or failing to follow through. One day, a close friend invited him to a special family gathering. As always, Jim enthusiastically agreed. But later, he absent-mindedly scheduled a work meeting at the same time and completely forgot about his promise. The next day, his friend expressed their disappointment. For Jim, this was a wake-up call. He wasn't intentionally letting people down. He simply hadn't realized that saying yes to everything was making his commitments meaningless. His words, meant to be well-intended, had become hollow. This is a mistake many of us make. We share our ambitions, future projects, or commitments too freely, only to find ourselves struggling to follow through. But the Stoics advise us to be selective with our words and cautious with our promises. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Speaking about your future plans can sometimes create a false sense of accomplishment. Your brain rewards you for sharing your vision, even though you haven't actually taken action yet. This can reduce motivation and make it harder to achieve your goals. So how can you ensure your words align with real progress? Pause before committing. Before you promise something, ask yourself, do I genuinely have the time and ability to follow through? If not, it's better to be honest up front. Prioritize depth over breadth. Focus on doing fewer things exceptionally well rather than overextending yourself. Understand that saying no is not selfish, it's responsible. The Stoics emphasized that controlling what you commit to is essential for maintaining balance and integrity. After his realization, Jim started shifting his approach. Instead of automatically agreeing to everything, he became more intentional with his commitments. He stopped making casual promises and instead ensured that when he said yes, it truly meant something. The result? People respected him more. They knew that if Jim committed to something, he would follow through. His relationships strengthened, and he felt more in control of his time and energy. Avoiding the habit of oversharing your plans isn't about being secretive. It's about ensuring that your words and actions carry weight. Stoicism teaches that our energy is best spent in action, not just in talk. When we learn to discipline our words, we strengthen our focus, build credibility, and ultimately turn intentions into reality. Final thoughts. Words shape who you are. The way we speak reflects far more than just our thoughts. It reveals our values, our discipline, and our depth of understanding. By embracing the principles of Stoicism, we can refine our speech in ways that elevate not just our conversations, but our entire lives. Avoid unnecessary boasting. True intelligence doesn't need validation. Respect different perspectives. Listening is a mark of wisdom. Complain only with purpose. Focus on solutions, not just frustrations. Honor your promises. Integrity is built on follow-through. Own your mistakes. Accountability fosters trust and growth. Be mindful of your words. Commit to action over empty declarations. Each of these lessons is a stepping stone toward a more refined, thoughtful, and impactful way of communicating. If this message resonates with you, let's continue the conversation. Share your thoughts in the comments. What resonated most with you? What habits are you working on improving? If you made it this far, type "I love this wisdom" to show your commitment to self-growth. And if you want to continue deepening your knowledge, I've left 2 more videos here to guide you further on your journey. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.